As a Seattle-based lawyer who's handled a lot of criminal law cases and runs a firm that handles a lot of criminal law cases, I want to talk to you about counseling and its interaction with criminal law. A lot of people hire me because I have a bulldog nature. I've got a heavy background in sports, and I tend to stick to what I want or stick to what my goal is, and I don't take no for an answer. However, what I found is that nature, tempering that nature in criminal defense in some cases is not only necessary, but it improves the results of the cases. And by saying tempering that nature, what I mean is instead of coming after a case hard and pushing a prosecutor hard, instead talking to my client about the reasons why the criminal case happened to begin with, and then taking steps proactively to get them involved in professional evaluations and counseling so that I have a reason when I talk to the prosecutor to get them to be treated differently. Now, this isn't true in every case, but what I found is I'm always surprised at how many times it is helpful at minimum. And in almost every case, it is often helpful. Even if I'm looking at a sentencing stage of a case, someone who's proactively started counseling on the issues that a case raises is going to generally be looked at better or give me the means of talking to a judge and to a prosecutor about my client in a way that puts them in a better light. In civil cases, bulldogging a case or pushing a case right out of the gates may be appropriate, but you need to realize that when you're dealing with criminal law cases, you're dealing with prosecutors who have a different obligation to the law and to what they're doing than a civil lawyer might have when they're arguing about, in general, money. Even the most jaded prosecutor became a prosecutor for a reason, and for the most purposes they want a fair and responsible criminal system that produces just and fair results. And so being able to talk to them about the particularities of a case when I have a client who has proactively taken the steps to address why the case surfaced to begin with always puts me in a better light and always puts me in a better footing to talk to him about what is a fair result. Although this should seem second nature to anybody that's done this business, and as I verbalize it, I think it makes sense to anybody who's walking into these kinds of cases that this makes sense. The problem is, in order to do it, you have to take more time. Means that I have to sit down and talk for a couple hours, 3 hours, 2 hours with clients about what is going on with their case. I need to become familiar with the circumstances that led to the charges. I need to be familiar with who they are. I need to be familiar with the friends, the family, what impacts they've had outside of their immediate family. What are the connections they have with work? What are the programs they've been involved in? And get a whole feel for how my client is to make sure that I send them to an evaluator that is appropriate and fits who they are and what the likely problem is. All professional evaluations are not the same. Defense attorneys will tell you that, so will prosecutors for that matter. And there are some evaluators that defense attorneys will not use. There are some evaluators that prosecutors will not accept. So it's important that you find somebody that is within the realm of reasonable and is open-minded to listening to the other side or to both points of view and proposing a plan that makes sense and leaves my clients in a better position for the pain that they've gone through going through the criminal system. They are put in a better position at the tail end of all that counseling than they were before it. Even if it's as simple as an anger management, a 2-hour anger management class, or it's as long as an 18-month domestic violence treatment program, or it's parenting classes, or it's one-on-one private counseling. There is an answer almost for every problem in the criminal system if it's based on behavior that wasn't, I don't know, even if it was based on behavior that's reckless.